Alright, Arroyo High School, it's good to see you back. Uh, Today we're going to be focusing on in-text MLA citation, and a lot of times students get mixed up with in-text citations versus works cited pages or bibliography. So let me be very clear as the distinction between the two. We're going to be working off of Purdue OWL's MLA 7th edition formatting and style guide, okay? Now, I may have posed the question to the class, what is the difference between MLA and APA? Let's figure this out. Alright, so here are the goals: kinds of citations, purpose, learn the nuts and bolts, and I'm going to attach this Google slide to the Google Classroom, and you can follow along on your own, and if you get lost, again, it's posted on Google Classroom, so you can open it up and move at your own pace. So why MLA? Well, it's very simple. You gotta have some sort of standard. If there are no standards, then there is no way for people in academia or just everyday citizens to check each other's sources. So why cite? You cite so that you are able to prove your point with credible evidence that has been peer reviewed, and it allows your readers and listeners, and readers more specifically, to look up some of the research that you may be citing so that they can fact check you. So who benefits from the citations? Well, it's not just your readers, actually. It's also you. You are establishing your credibility and your honest transparency with your readers. So you, in essence, by extension, you're becoming more trustworthy and honest. So here it is, MLA citation, okay? MLA just stands for Modern Language Association. These are the different types of disciplines or subjects for which you would use MLA. Okay, other citations. Here's a problem. If you are using maybe psychology textbooks, or you're using some sort of a nonfiction text, okay, and it's research based, you're going to be using APA in-text citation, and it's different. And it gets confusing because there are different types of citation styles, whether it be APA, MLA, or even Chicago style. But the two different citation styles I'm going to focus on is APA and MLA. For what purpose? Because many of you guys are already taking AP Psych or Psychology, and you have to write essays even in that. So students often get mixed up what to do while they are writing an essay in these different type of disciplines. Let's be very specific. In APA style, notice that while writing a paragraph and including evidence from research, notice that it goes last name, comma, it's a date. This is not a page number. This is a date, 1975. So if you're in your AP Psych class or just psychology class that focuses on the evidence is coming from a text that's research based, very nonfiction, right? Then you're going to be using the author's last name, putting in a comma, and putting a date. Notice how the period comes after, very similar to MLA. Alright, so we covered the works cited page, okay? Most of you guys know how to document an MLA formatted page, and now we're going to be focusing on in-text citations. So this is an example, and we all know how to do this. So a lot of students wonder how to incorporate text. Okay? You have to understand that I want you to pause this video, and I want you to take a look at this paragraph. Notice that in this sentence, okay, I love how the quote is correctly embedded within the sentence to make a complete sentence. Wordsworth stated that romantic poetry was marked by a, quote, spontaneous overflow of powerful feelings. Notice that here, 263 does not have the author's last name. However, in the next sentence, romantic poetry is characterized by the spontaneous overflow of powerful feelings. Wordsworth, 263. I'm wondering, you can disregard these circles, they're just offset because of just formatting issues, but the real question is why is one in-text citation just a page number, while over here this in-text citation has the author's last name? Why would it be the case? Just take a moment to think about that. If you were asking and telling yourself, well, there seems to be a pattern here, okay, and if you can identify that pattern, that's great. For example, notice that 263 and 263, just the page numbers appear twice. In these sentences, you can see that the author's last name is already stated within the sentence. Wordsworth, okay, he stated this quote, and therefore you don't need the author's last name. It's redundant. Whereas in the next sentence, romantic poetry is characterized by the quote, and now it's not clear who is saying this quote. And that is why the author's last name appears here. Okay? Likewise, you see that same example over here. The author's last name appears initially in the beginning, and so therefore it doesn't need to appear at the end. Here's another example. Humans have been described by Kenneth Burke as symbol using animals. Awesome. Just the page number is enough. Notice that the period comes after. Okay. Let's go to over here. Humans have been described as symbol using animals. Author's last name or full name is no longer there and therefore needs the author's last name here. Again, the period comes after. Notice that there is no comma. This is not APA style, everybody. If you're using a combination between AP and MLA, you need to make sure that you are using the correct form. Finally, a lot of students ask me in rare situations where one author, one writer has a book but is quoting another person's work. What do you do in those situations? Well, you could do this, and it's called citing indirect sources. Okay, if you look at this example, Ravitch argues that high schools are pressured to act as social service centers, and they don't do that well. Okay, so notice that this person argues this quote, and it's quoted in this person's work in page 259. Now you can do that. And if you feel like a particular quote has appeared multiple times in different type of texts, you can do this as well. Down over here says two different authors, two different page numbers who have a very similar type of quote. Okay? These instances won't happen as frequently, but if it comes up, just ask. Now in this slide, I want you to notice the punctuation marks. What do you notice? If you said that the punctuation marks find itself outside at the end of the parentheses, you are absolutely correct. Okay? So in MLA in-text citation, notice that the punctuation comes after the parentheses. It is very important that you recognize that. Unless the punctuation is part of the original quote, the punctuation should come to the outside. If you have trouble and get confused, just ask and I can help. Alright folks, this is the bracket rules, just in case if you forgot, and here is the ellipses rules. Okay, if you have any questions about that, just let me know. Again, the PowerPoint should be on Google Classroom for you to peruse at your own pace, and this link should be posted up on Google Classroom as well for you to repeat if you need to. Good luck.